Howdy, brothers.
Welcome back to another episode of Whiskey and Water.
We are back at it again.
I'm your co-host, Liv.
And I am your co-host, Jess.
And today we have on an exciting guest.
Yes, we have on Dr. Sheila Nazarian. She is an amazing plastic surgeon and just all-around female entrepreneur. She's a badass.
In Beverly Hills, and she has 100 different projects going on right now, and it is so impressive, just the scale at which she is scaling so many businesses.
Yeah, you guys might know her from Skin Decision, which is a show on Netflix. Actually, Kennedy, our podcast manager, is the one who found her and was like, you guys have to have her on.
Because she watched the show and was obsessed. And she's like, oh my God, she said she'll come on.
Yeah,
so we're super excited to have her on. We have a great conversation. She shares a little bit about her journey with us, coming here as an immigrant at 7 years old. That's so insane. Wow. It's honestly so inspiring. If anything's the American dream, it's that.
Yeah,
so
honestly.
Yeah, great conversation. You guys have a lot to look forward to, a lot of practical content, tips, advice. Excuse my poor vocabulary. But yeah, I hope everyone's had a great weekend, having a great week, depending on when you're listening to this. And let's get into a little bit of catch up before our segments, and then we'll hop into the episode.
Yep.
So what's new and good?
What are we going to be talking about?
We are catching up on the fact that we rock.
Okay, someone's losing it.
I don't care. We can literally just do high and low, because that's kind of
that's what I'm thinking. So we had a pretty fun weekend.
Yeah,
I had a good
super.
weekend. I had a little girls' night with Macy one night, and then I had another girls' night where we had Jalissa and Jalissa's boyfriend. It was fun.
We haven't had Jalissa on the show this season.
Oh,
now that we're doing our influencer season.
And Macy. We're going to have a lot of really great girlfriends on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. I was social.
You stepped out.
I was on my single girl shit.
You looked cute.
I did look cute. I felt cute too.
Oh, I love that.
It was a lot of fun. But you know what? I feel like I'll just tie this combo into my highs and my lows.
Oh, okay.
Because I feel like I can pull from this weekend.
We're getting into it. Let's get into the high and low.
So the low for me, honestly, my low from the week, nothing really stands out other than I feel like we share this, which is not currently having a personal assistant. That is not fun.
Not fun.
And because I had such an amazing personal assistant for the past few months, which was Caroline. If you guys don't know, Caroline, who was also our project manager. So I did lose her as my personal assistant and the project manager.
And it's hard going from someone so on top of things and then to nothing.
Yes.
To nothing.
So yeah, that's definitely been a huge kind of weight on my shoulders, especially because I am in such a transitional period right now. I'm gearing up for a new move. My birthday's in a couple fucking weeks and I haven't planned absolutely anything. And if you know me, I like to go all out and I haven't had anything planned. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So that's the low. But let's get into the high.
Yes.
Let's get into the high. The high is a good one.
Okay, tell me.
It's kind of a high. It's only a high because I'm me.
Okay.
And it's only a high because I'm psycho.
Oh God, here we go.
So this weekend, it was me, Jalissa, and Macy's friend, all standing outside of Biblos, and we were taking photos, and Macy was taking photos of me. And these three fucking dudes walk out and they're like, oh, she's taking this so seriously. And I'm just ignoring them because I'm obviously trying to get a photo right now.
Literally mind your business.
And they're like, and then they go to hand Macy their phone while she's taking photos. And they're like, can you take a picture of us? And I go, she's busy. She's very busy taking my photos.
Keep walking.
And he goes, and they're like, and they're still, whatever. They're like, how many photos does she need to take? And I go, as many as it fucking takes. I don't answer to you.
Just keep walking.
Just keep fucking walking. Leave me alone. And then at this point, they're getting upset that we're not being fucking nice, right? And so, I was being short. I wasn't even being mean. I was just, very obviously not interested. And they're like, just making comments oh, well, just try to be fucking nice. You don't have to be a fucking bitch. Shit like that. And then, they make a comment to, Jalissa, and they're like, because Jalissa's, ignoring them as well. And they're like, we're not trying to be your boyfriend. And Jalissa was like, and Jalissa's boyfriend had actually just stepped away for a second to hop into the corner store. And Jalissa was like, my boyfriend's going to be back any second, actually, but thank you. And, you know, they're just talking shit. Like, and they weren't even like gross guys. Like had been having dinner at Biblos, stepped out for a cigarette. Like, it didn't even need to escalate to the point it did. And I was just like, leave us alone. Like, stop fucking talking to us and whatever. He's like, and I begin walking away because I'm like, it's either I walk away or I'm going to get nasty. And like, they were bothering me. So I'm like ushering the girls away. And he goes,
oh God.
He goes, yeah, you better keep fucking walking.
The audacity.
So,
you
knew. I tell the girls, ladies,
hold my shit.
Ladies, stand right there.
Okay? Hold my shit.
I turn so fucking fast that I create a wind draft. A tornado was made by the rapidity in which I turned around on my fucking heel. And I scream. I scream.
Oh God.
I go, and I go, and I walk up and I go, I walk right up and I said, the fuck did you just say to me? I was like, who the fuck are you to tell me to stop fucking walking? I said, you go back inside, motherfucker. And he's like, and then he's like putting his hand in my face and he's like, walk away. And it's just this one dude. Like, I'm pretty sure his like two friends are like
embarrassed.
kind of embarrassed because he was the one that like even made it escalate
like
to this point. And he like has his hand in my face and he's like, yeah, walk away, you fucking bitch.
I'm so glad I was not here for this.
I go, listen, sir, if I was 5'9" and I didn't have a hairline, I would be upset too. And everyone around was like, oh my God. And this motherfucker did not even know what to say. It was game over at that point.
Yes.
And I repeated it. And I just to really send it home.
I said repeat.
Rinse and repeat. I said, sir, if I was 5'9" and looked like you, I would be upset too. And yeah, and then they went inside. They went inside after that. Yeah.
Wow.
And
epic.
And honestly, the girls were even like, of course, you know, not everyone is on my, you know, same level of energy. But even Jalissa was like, that was warranted.
That was warranted.
That was
100%.
I didn't go out of my way to be mean.
No.
And if he wanted to sit there and call me a bitch. And
you tried de-escalating the situation.
I wasn't even, like, I was just being short at the beginning. Like, I wasn't even like, leave us alone. I was just like, she's going to take as many photos of me as she needs.
Like,
we're
just
like we're in the middle of something right here.
Oh my God. I kind of hate men, you know?
Dude, I really
kind of hate men.
I really don't have the patience.
Not me, like, realizing. I'm like,
no, you know what? It's funny, though, because
crazy.
I did realize this at the festival because I was with this girl who was like, she was my roommate at the festival. She was super sweet, but like a lot nicer than I am. And I kind of realized it because I wanted to be like conscious of her feelings and how I acted. Because, you know, the way I act can make some people feel uncomfortable because I'm just very... abrasive.
Can be.
100%. And with, you know, when I'm with my girlfriends, they expect that from me and sometimes appreciate it because, you know, they don't want to do it. But I could tell, like, I was almost kind of making this girl uncomfortable with how, like, rude and short I was to these men. And then, like, I kind of realized, I was like, oh, I hate men. I do not like men. Like, I don't even let them get anywhere near me.
Yeah.
Like, they start walking and I'm like, no. Like,
and she wonders why she can't find a boyfriend. No, I feel that though, because even so a high for me this week was getting dinner with my girlfriends from school. Group of my besties, been friends since literally middle school, and it's so nice to see each other when we do because it's like the
rare. Sisterhood of the traveling pants.
It's so rare, and because one's in med school, one's in law school, like one's across the country, like we're all spread out. So I got together with a few of them, and it was really, really nice, and we were all just catching up, how, you know, as we do. And it's so funny the way they entertain men and the way it makes me so uncomfortable. And thank God, like, my friend Brooke was there too, because we're kind of on the same level as far as like not interested in even entertaining. Yeah. And like they will.
Not to mention, I mean, and I do want to say, it doesn't even have to do with the fact that you're engaged. It just has to do with the fact that, you know, you don't want that energy around.
Not only do I not want the energy, like they could even be nice. It's just, I have zero, like, I don't want the attention almost. Yeah. Like I have zero interest.
Let me exist.
I have zero interest in even having the attention other than from the people that I'm here with now. You know what I mean? Like simply just my girlfriends. So it was an interesting realization too, because Tiffany was also like, what's the harm? And I was like, I don't care. I don't
he
care.
Could kill me.
I just simply don't care, and I don't want to entertain it. Like I don't know if it's I don't have the energy, you know. I don't know, but it's interesting. We just both hate that. If you're listening, honestly, and if you're a man, we don't hate you. We love you. You're a brother. You get us.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's a distinct difference between, and that's not to say that I won't entertain someone that comes up to me. Like if it's done properly, like I will for sure. Even I actually even met a guy at the festival who was super funny, like super sweet, and like, you know, he was like hitting on me, and I like allowed it. Yeah. And I was like, you know, being, you know, flirty back.
It's so much about coming correct.
Gotta come correct.
Yeah.
And it's funny because even then there was a guy who direct messaged me on Raya, which is, you know, just like a dating app. And he was like, saw you at the festival, want to get to know you and see what's behind those eyes.
No.
I was like, that is...
Thank you, next.
So fucking weird.
Keep walking,
like,
brother.
You saw me at the festival.
Oh.
Didn't...
I just remembered something.
Didn't like want to say hi then, message me on the dating app after and said want to see what's behind those eyes.
Feels icky.
Fucking a brain,
feels
sir.
Icky.
Yeah. What did you
I want to tell you this story. I was sitting driving home yesterday from Tiffanys because I slept over, and I was on my way home. Beautiful day outside. I had my windows down, just enjoying the drive, and I was doing that thing that I've been talking about, how I say the date, whatever. I am more present to the moment, and I'm like looking outside my window. I'm also trying to be on my phone less in the car, like at red lights and at stop signs. So I'm looking out the window, looking at the trees, the blue skies, blah, blah, blah. This guy in the car next to me, like, tells me to roll down my window. No, right. So that's my assumption. I'm like, what do you want? So I roll it down, and he's like, hey. I'm like, hi, how are you?
What? No.
I'm like, no, listen. I'm like, I'm okay. How are you? He's like, good. And he was like, here, let me give you something. He like opens his car, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck is this guy doing?
And at the stoplight?
This is at the red light, yeah. And he's like, gee, but I could tell like
it wasn't like a threatening.
I wasn't getting any threatening vibes. And he's like, Jesus told me to give this to you. Hands me like his business card, and I'm like, okay.
Jesus told you to make a sale right now,
right? But then he gets back in his car, and he's like, you know about frequencies? And I was like, yeah. And he goes like this, and he's like, I see you. And I'm like,
oh my God.
Okay. And he's like, and then that was it. And he's like, have a good day, sister, and drives away. And I was like, that was kind of nice.
It was kind of nice.
I know.
Maybe we don't hate all men.
And like, it really was, I think, like, I don't even think it was much of a sales pitch. I mean, he's like a motivational speaker, but like, I don't even think it was about that. I think he genuinely, like, I don't know.
Just felt called. Yeah.
It was so interesting though. And that was it. And he's like, have a good day, sister. And I'm like, you too, brother. Like, what?
I love that.
It was just so strange because I was literally like, had I just been on my phone, I would have been like, yeah, fuck off. But I was literally like, I was like very intentionally like raising my frequency, I guess, in a subconscious way, or just like in tune with like the world. So interesting.
And he was like, do you know about frequencies? And you're like, what do you know about frequencies?
And he literally goes like this, and he's like,
oh, by the way, she's doing the motion.
Like when you like the eyes.
When you're like, I see you. When you do like the two eyes to someone else.
And you're like, I see you. So yeah, so interesting. Fun story.
Love.
Yeah.
Love that.
So, okay, that wraps up our high and low and our catch up. Let's do a quick deep dive.
Yes, we're going to do a deep dive. This is a new segment for us, a deep dive on a recent collaboration and kind of like the details behind it.
All right, so I did a collaboration recently for a water company. It's like Hawaiian volcanic water. We're actually not sure if we can soon the brand names. We will check up on that and let you guys know. But for now,
That's so specific.
We'll generalize them. Hawaiian.
She goes, yeah, we're not going to say the brand name, but it's a Hawaiian volcanic water.
Naturally alkaline. But anyways, I did this. I think they had reached out to me through email. We went back and forth and negotiated. So that was how I got it. And the product is water. And the deliverables were an in-feed photo, and that's it. And although the rate was really low, this is probably the lowest I'll ever accept. In my head, I was imagining it to be a water bottle, the product. So I was like, okay, super easy to shoot, right? We could do it at our studio that we shoot at every week. I can knock it out, boom, easy. And that is why I accepted the low rate. It's $300. So I actually ended up getting a box. It's a water in a box, like, you know, those like boxed wines.
Like, yeah,
so I was like,
slap the bag.
That's a little harder to shoot, but like I'd rather just knock it out instead of do a back and forth.
Yeah.
So I actually brought it on this little trip with me. It looked really good in the kitchen. It worked out, came out super cute, and it's like actually a really great product that I'm happy to promote. So that is my deep dive on that partnership.
Love that.
Yeah.
All right, the one that I will be featuring, I did an activewear collaboration, and I also I accepted a lower rate for what it was because, you know, it was like under the impression that we would be like kind of working together and kind of do this as like a test run. But we did this activewear, and it was really interesting because what they wanted was like a kind of like a story campaign. So for like this entire week, they sent me this entire new collection that they were launching. So I also like, it kind of accepted like this entire activewear collection as payment because I'm always in activewear. So it worked out. And so basically for a week, I did like a different thing in their activewear and wore their activewear every day. So like one day I would do a try on haul. The other day I would wear it for a workout. The other next day I would wear like a loungewear fit and like kind of show what I'm doing in it.
And how did you get the deal?
I think just through my normal outreach.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, if you guys don't already know, we do outreach to hundreds of brands,
that we want to work with.
Yeah. And so they had responded, and I accepted 500 for the stories and a in-feed post. And I loved working with them. And it was, I mean, honestly, such a fun collaboration.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And it's totally aligned with your lifestyle.
Yeah.
So it's easy to kind of fit in.
Exactly. Because, you know, I was like, if it was something else that, you know, wasn't
had it been dresses that she wears every day, it might not have worked.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't be doing all that. But yeah, since it was activewear, I'm like, I'm wearing this all the time anyway.
Fun. All right, that is our deep dive. Now let's get into the episode.
Today we're going to be telling you about one of our amazing new sponsors, Equilibria. Equilibria is a premium full-spectrum CBD company with a focus on supporting women through CBD personalization and education. Equilibria is dedicated to helping women in their daily lives, and they understand that women's bodies are different, from cyclical changes to the very real challenges of menopause, childbirth, and everything in between. So Equilibria believes that quality matters. They believe that service matters, and they believe that women deserve a CBD brand that can deliver both.
Equilibria is dedicated to educating women on the benefits of CBD and how effective CBD can be when taken daily. That's why they offer free one-on-one dosage consultants with every purchase. Their team of highly qualified dosage specialists are here to answer all of your questions regarding CBD to help you find the best routine for your lifestyle. Their expert dosage specialists are with you during each stage of your journey to help you tailor your CBD routine to fit your health goals and support you each day.
With all the demands on modern women, the struggle to find balance is real. Equilibria is proud to bring their For Women, by Women mission to life every day by helping their community find balance through premium CBD routines personalized for them.
In honor of National Women in Business Week later in October, Equilibria is doubling down all month long to celebrate the accomplishments of all women working to build a brighter future for herself, her family, and her community. No matter where she's making an impact, either at home, in the boardroom, and everywhere in between, Equilibria honors all women and is dedicated to setting them up for success. From free CBD for women balancing it all to trailblazing lessons from women, founders, and leaders. To tips and tricks on how to use CBD most effectively as women, EQ dedicates October to strong women taking action everywhere.
To help get started on your CBD journey, Equilibria is offering 20% off for all Whiskey and Water listeners with code WW20 for a limited time only. Go to myeq.com to learn more and save 20% off your first purchase with code WW20, brothers.
Guys, couldn't recommend it enough. I took my oil this morning. We literally took a gummy before we recorded our episode. It keeps us calm. It keeps us cool. Love knowing how clean it is and that they know exactly where the CBD is coming from. So can't recommend it enough. The link will be in our description to check them out.
All right, guys, we are live with Dr. Sheila Nazarian. I feel like I still said Sheila. But thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
My pleasure. How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
So good. We're so excited to finally have you on. I feel like this has been in the works for a while, so It's happening.
She's a busy lady.
Yes, love it.
So for our audience who isn't already familiar with you, tell them a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So I am like every woman. Here we go.
Nice.
I'm a mom of 3 kids. I'm married to a brain surgeon. I myself am a plastic surgeon. I'm an immigrant, super Jewish and active in that space. I have a Netflix show called Skin Decision that came out last year. I've been doing TV and magazine and stuff like that for a long time, just providing a lot of value and content in the beauty space. I'm also an entrepreneur. I also went to business school. So I have an e-commerce site called The Skin Spot where we curate medical grade skincare that actually works. Might not smell as good, might not have the cutest packaging, but we'll give you results. We have a spa called Spa 26, which is expanding into Nevada soon. I'm in California, and we also have Nazarian Plastic Surgery in Beverly Hills. And I also have a nonprofit called the Nazarian Institute, and we have a conference every year called Think Big, and Big stands for Branding, Innovation, and Growth. And we've had awesome keynote speakers like Kris Jenner, Bethany Frankel, Tamara Mellon, who has her own shoe line. She was the co-founder of Jimmy Choo. Alexandra Wilkes-Wilson, who started Guilt.com and Glam Squad. I mean, like anything this woman touches turns to gold. So it's just basically business and branding and personal growth tips, especially for women. I feel like we not only, like, somebody can give us all the tips, but we're like, but it's not perfect, or like, I'm not doing it right. You know, so it's kind of like getting people over the hump to be as successful as they can be.
Love that.
Absolutely incredible. There's so much to dive into here. Like, where I don't even know where to start. But my first question, like off the bat, is how do you do everything?
Yeah,
and stay sane.
Yeah, I just did a post on this on my Instagram, but basically, you know how they always say like you can have it all, but you can't have it all at the same time. I used to believe that because I wasn't having it all at the same time. But now I am having it all at the same time. So I feel like you can. It just takes a lot of like hard work and sacrifice to get to the point where you can have it all. And while you're on that journey, you don't have it all at the same time. So I had kids during surgical residency. Was I home with them at all? No, like I missed out on ages like 0 to 5 for the most part. I mean, obviously I was there on, you know, some weekends and stuff, but when you're a surgical resident, you're working 80 hours a week, and when you're home, you're asleep. So I feel like also, I think like getting really good help and like a good support system around you is really crucial, because like each one of my companies has its own manager, then we have a COO, and it's kind of like, you know, just having that good help around so that you can delegate. So like every Monday, for example, I don't see patients. I just literally have meetings, do interviews, do photo shoots for Instagram. Like all of that happens on a Monday. But I also meet with the managers of every company to be like, okay, where did we leave off last week? What got done this week? And what are the priorities for, you know, the upcoming 1 or 2 weeks? So it's kind of, you know, being able to delegate to good people.
So something I'm curious about before we like kind of deep dive into like the tactical stuff, I want to know a little bit more about your past, your journey, and like if you knew that you wanted to be an entrepreneur or you kind of became a doctor and then that came on later down the line. What did that look like for you?
I always, like, you know, I'm an immigrant. We kind of, I came to the United States from Iran at the age of, by the time we made it here, I was 7.
Okay.
And literally I'm talking like back of a pickup truck, getting shot at by border police, like living in Pakistan for 3 months till we got visas to come here. And I didn't speak English. I was an ESL. You know, back in the day, Persian girls weren't allowed to like get rid of their mustache or like shave their legs because it meant like you were going to be promiscuous or something. You know what I mean? So it was just like a very nerdy kind of insecure, I would say, like tween, you know, preteen kind of thing. I didn't actually like feel pretty, I think, until college, or like the senior year of high school or something like that, just because I was like so skinny. Like my elbows were the biggest part of my arm, like super skinny, not like skinny in like a good way, and like not even on purpose. It was just like, you know, so it was just like a very, but I always knew that I was smart starting at like, I would say middle school. In lower school, I was like, oh, you know, had some imposter syndrome, and like I got into like a gifted class, and I was like, they're gonna figure me out, they're gonna kick me out, they're gonna be like, big mistake. And so I think it was just kind of like a journey of coming into accepting what I thought were disadvantages and turning them into advantages, like being brown, being female, you know, being super skinny as a kid. Now it's like, hell yeah. you know?
Thank God for these genetics.
Yeah, or like even having brown skin in the beauty space,
Right.
it's like such an advantage. Being female in the beauty space is such an advantage, especially as a plastic surgeon, because there's not that many female plastic surgeons. So I think it was just like a journey of like understanding that anything that differentiates you is actually a huge benefit, and you just have to figure out how to leverage that. And also overcoming kind of figuring out, overcoming the challenge of like asking what you're worth. So I think that was another thing. I was like, oh, I just want to help people. And, I don't care what I get. It's not about the money. But then at a certain point, you're like, it's not about the money, but like at the same time, you want to be like respected. And that's like one of the markers of that, right? So if you're, like for example, I'm in a building with 31 plastic surgeons in Beverly Hills. Like it is the car lot. Just my building has 31 plastic surgeons, and I'm like one of 2 women.
That's
and
insane.
like the guy down the hallway is like, I'm a world-renowned blah blah blah. His results are okay. Like he doesn't take that good care of patients. Like I give my patients my cell phone number, right? And like I think my results are better. And I'm like, why is that guy demanding more, than I am? So that's dumb. I'm not doing that anymore. Like this is what I'm charging.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like it's kind of been a journey in that sense of kind of knowing your value and getting over the imposter syndrome and being like, I'm good at this. And if I don't tell people what I'm good at, how will they know they can come to me for help? Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like a big like journey in that sense.
Love that. And then where do you feel like you got your expertise in entrepreneurship? Was it kind of just like learn as I go? What was your vision for that?
I was like always like very shy, and I like wasn't very assertive, and I just wanted people to love me and tell me like what a good girl I was. That's like a very Middle Eastern / Asian, kind of thing. And so I wasn't very assertive, and I felt like selling was very like car lot and like not very like dignified and all of that. But again, I just, especially during, quarantine and a little bit before that, like during quarantine, people couldn't, like all of the offices were closed, right? Nobody could get their microneedling. Nobody could get their skincare products, like whatever, especially the medical grade ones, because only doctors can sell them. And so I had the Skin Spot, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to tell people what I do. I'm going to tell them what I do and what products I use. And I started doing that, and literally like Skin Spot went through the roof. People were so grateful. And I realized that if you're selling something that helps people, that's a blessing. That's not anything to be ashamed of. Like if you're selling something that helps people feel better about themselves, hell yeah. Like empower that.
Right.
So I forget the question. Tell me the question.
Just like about learning about how to be an entrepreneur and how to build these businesses.
It was actually a funny story. So when I went to Columbia, I was actually a religion major, and then I was a philosophy major. And the reason why I kept switching is because the first day of school, of class, the teacher said, we don't give out A's. And I was like, well, mama needs to go to med school, so I'm going to switch into a major. I'm like, where are the jocks at? What major are the jocks in? And it was economics. And I was like, I'm going to do econ because I need to get to med school. I need
that.
And I actually really loved it because I do have a very mathematical mind, and I love data and I love logic. And it was very like, and it's kind of like, it was kind of like, the psychology of people. Like knowing how people react economically is understanding how their fears and their expectations. And it was actually lovely. And then when I was in between general surgery and plastic surgery in residency, I took 2 years to do research. I was having my second kid, and I took a master's in medical management program at Marshall School of Business. And so I really like, I have a higher emotional quotient. I understand kind of what motivates people, and I kind of use that on, in my entrepreneurship to really like fill a need and bring programs that didn't exist that I knew people needed. And it's funny because I started those like 5 years ago or 7 years ago. And now it's like, everybody's like, oh, we need something that does this. And I'm like, well, here you go. It's ready.
Yeah. Wow. That's so fascinating and such a different like take on entrepreneurship.
Finding out the way people operate and then kind of like reverse engineering that.
Yeah, it's genius.
Exactly. Yeah.
So cool.
And how did so obviously we discussed becoming a plastic surgeon and Skin Spot. How did something like Skin Decision come about?
I knew I wanted my own TV show when I was a like fourth or fifth year resident. Like my attending asked me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I'm like, I'm gonna have my own TV show. And he was like, okay, psycho, like you go do that, you know? I just
everyone's like helping, saving lives. And you're like, TV.
Well, I mean, because my passion was always kind of educating the masses.
Yeah.
You know, I love like helping one person with a breast augmentation or a mommy makeover or whatever it is, one person at a time. But if you can educate the masses, that's really what gets me excited. Yeah. And I feel like every human has their own unicorn, right? Every human has that one thing that maybe differentiates them, or a special talent that differentiates them from all the other people in that industry. My unicorn is being able to communicate super effectively and clearly on camera. And a lot of physicians can't do that. You put them in front of a camera and they freeze, right? So I was already doing, I've never had PR. I've never had any like that kind of thing with help. But when I got out of residency, I just knew people didn't want to read anymore. And so I just started making YouTube videos. I was like, what's the difference between a mini tummy tuck and a full tummy tuck? What's the difference between a breast lift and a breast reduction? Like these little questions that are so easy for us, but that the general public doesn't know.
Yeah.
And you know, when people like search something on Google, there's a line of videos. I was like the only videos because nobody else was making videos 8 years ago.
Nice.
And in our industry, in our space. And I made them because I just wanted my website to be like the title, before and afters, a video. And then if they want to read more, they can scroll down. It was kind of the opposite on everybody else's website. It was like title, tons of text, and some before and afters on the bottom. And because the videos were coming up, when beauty editors or producers, or if they needed an expert on a topic, they would Google it and all my videos would come up. They'd watch a video. They'd be like, okay, this you know, doctor is good on camera. Let's bring her on. So I was getting tons of like The Real, Inside Edition, Insider, E! News like 10 times, The Doctor Show 10 times. And I started meeting a lot of people and I knew I wanted to do this. So I actually was under contract with one of the big channels on TV for a year. They ended up not picking up that show, but the producer on that project was the producer for Skin Decision. So he came and got me for Skin Decision. So it's kind of like dating, you know, you just want to spread the net wide and meet as many people as you can. And one of them is going to work out. It was kind of like that.
That is so cool. And I love that you were so ahead of the curve with video. I mean, even now we're seeing short form video completely take over the marketing industry, social media industry. So the fact that you 8 years ago was like, no one's doing this, let me hop on it right now, is so smart. And
let me tell you, not just that, you guys, but you know how Google owns YouTube?
Yes.
So I didn't even know that it was like amazing for SEO.
Yeah.
To make like amazing for SEO.
Yeah,
so it was like 2 years out,
reason,
2 years out of residency. Like nobody knew who the heck I was. If you search Beverly Hills plastic surgeon, I was on the first page of Google because of the videos.
That's huge. And I'm sure that's such a high and difficult ranking to have.
Oh my God. Like there's like, how many plastic surgeons in Beverly Hills if there's 31 just in my building? Right.
Yeah. And it's wild that like, you know, you look at a decision like that, right? And at the time it could be like a small decision. And then in hindsight, I mean, you could say it completely changed your career and, you know, exactly your path.
Yeah. And even with things like, you know, our nonprofit, like Think Big, I started bringing on like business people from outside of medicine. Like when you go to one of our meetings, it's basically doctors teaching other doctors. It's like blind leading the blind. What do doctors know about business, right? I would go out and get like the CEO of a water nutrition company, or like Bethany Frankel, you know, with Skinny, whatever, the Skinny brand, or I don't know, just like random people from other industries to come actually teach us, because they've been doing it forever. Like that hasn't even been applied to medicine yet. And now it's like mind blowing to these that we have like massive companies coming to us wanting to link into our program for their business education portals for all of their clients. So it's kind of like, I realized that there was something missing from our conferences, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do it myself.
So cool.
And it is so interesting because we talk about this a lot, like in like the like creative space, how like a lot of creatives are, you know, they kind of think so abstractly that like they don't have the business side down. And it's interesting to hear that it's really similar in the medical side as well, because I mean, I know that I've stepped into a million doctors' offices and been like, this could be run so much better. So I love that you kind of fused the two, and I think that's amazing.
And just more modern in general.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
you just
it needs to be. I think every doctor's office we step in is like archaic. You know what I mean?
And I tell you why else too. Like one thing I learned in business schools, if you want to make things better, you have to set aside the time to make them better.
Yeah.
So something I know I've always done the Monday thing where I don't see patients on Mondays, and I really create that time and space to meet and plan and strategize. But during quarantine, when I wasn't seeing any patients for 2 months, that's when I really, like, the skin spot, you guys, went up in income by 6 times.
Wow.
Because I spent 2 months, 16 hours a day at this desk. My husband literally was like, you're a boat and you dropped your anchor, like right there.
Yeah.
But when you take that uninterrupted time and put it into a business and you focus like that, it is literally like a rocket ship to propel that business forward. And so now what I'm doing is I'll operate and see patients for 2 or 3 months and then take an entire month away from patient care to work on even the business behind Nazarian plastic surgery. Like, what emails are going out? Are they accurate? As soon as someone gets booked for a breast augmentation, they should get their pre and post instructions automatically emailed to them so that they can buy the bags of like peas for ice on their boobs after they had the breast augmentation, help them plan, so it's just like, you have to set aside the time, I think, in order to look at the business side and to make the processes more efficient and a better experience. But a lot of times physicians are just like, I gotta work, and working, might have 3 kids in college or like whatever. It's just like anything else. It's a service industry and it requires their time in order to provide income. And so that's the challenge, I think, for doctors.
Yeah. I love how you learned that during quarantine. Like, and all throughout COVID, we've been saying there's kind of these like silver linings that you can find. And had you not had those 2 months to sit down and have that revelation, who knows if you ever would have had it. I absolutely love that you take a month off now. I think that is incredible.
I take a month off like at least every quarter.
I love
And I'm working
it.
my ass off, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't know how to relax. I need to like work on that.
Same. No, that's incredible. Such sound advice.
And I think that a lot of people are scared to kind of like take a step back in order to kind of like look at everything to propel them forward. But
I think I use an analogy of like a bow and arrow. Like, you got to pull back, and you lose income that month, but then it's like letting the arrow go and you shoot forward, and you're going to not only, make that income back, but more. And that sustains for a very long time until you take another month off and you pull yourself back and it's another arrow forward.
Yeah, that's so incredible. It's so true. I think we're so used to looking at like short-term situations and kind of trying to make a decision based on that, but that's very like long-term thinking, and those decisions you make within that month will help the business for decades, change the structure of things. I love that. I'm curious to know, like, if you that brain behind your business, that passion, that energy to sit there and be able to look at your business objectively and see how it can be improved. Do you feel like that is something that only you can do, or do you feel like that's something you could almost delegate as a task to people who work under you?
I think that you need to brainstorm with people that you trust and who are like co-dreamers. Who are going to tell you when something sounds like not great, or who are going to like help you accomplish it. But I do think that vision needs to come from me.
But it can be...
And sometimes they'll even be like, no, and I'm like, no, we're doing it. Like, I love that you're giving me your opinion, but it's happening.
That's cute, but
exactly.
And you just need people who have, I think, like your best interests in mind around, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's a reason why, like, we've gone from like 0 to 180 miles per hour in such a short period of time, and it's me.
Right.
And I think that's another thing that, like, I think especially as women, we kind of shy away from. Oh, it's, bragging, or like, oh, it's like, no, I know what my strengths are. I also know what my weaknesses are. Like, I think everyone's a good person, and therefore I don't interview any new employees. That goes to my more skeptical, jaded,
I love it.
COO or managers. They do the interviewing, and literally I shake the person's hand on their first day of work. Like,
that's great.
Because I know that's just a weakness, but I also know the way that I see the future is a strength, and I go with that.
Yeah, and it's interesting because as we scale, we own a creative agency, and as we're scaling it, it's like we're trying to figure out like what is fair to ask from people who work for us, or what's really our responsibility, and like having that vision, like, is that fair to ask, or even like not only fair, but like does it make sense, you know, to ask someone else to see the vision for our company, or is it our company and that's, you know, that's our responsibility.
I think it's good to have like brainstorming sessions.
Right.
But at the same time, like, that's your company. Like, there's a reason why it's your company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's our baby.
At least we have two brains that are working on it that we can trust. But I am curious to kind of deep dive into like the more tactile things, such as like what you do to actually like stay sane and stay like organized. Like what are your, you know, what does that look like to you? Do you use like organizational processes on it? Are people organizing your life for you?
I do have a personal assistant, but I just meet with her and kind of tell her what I want to get done. And I think a lot of times when you have a personal assistant, it's actually more work because all of those things that you've had on your to-do list for 2 years actually start happening. And so there's more questions coming to you and approvals coming to you, but actually like stuff is getting done, which is awesome. I do love my Erin Condren, or, you know, this little guy. I get one of these on sale every like Thanksgiving weekend. These go on sale.
What is that?
It's basically like a life organizer, a life planner. You guys, I don't think having it in your phone is good because I do think you need to have everything in front of you written out. And I love those planners.
What'd you call it? An Erin?
It's an Erin Condren. It's the name of the company. So let me see if they like have their name here. See. Erin Condren. Can you see that?
Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. But I get one of these every year. And the cool thing about it too is like, let's say you have your contacts in there, you have like, I don't know, like a password to something, you can just like snap it out and then put it into next year's instead of having to like write everything out again. Like I've done, you know, fast pass and like those kinds of things, but it's like, they don't automatically update. So if you forget to update it, it's all wrong. So just that kind of stuff doesn't work for me. I have to have it written down.
Love that.
And they have cute stickers. And so that is like, you know, very organization, like orgasm situation. But I also like, you know, I do get stuff done. Like this morning when I had our nonprofit meeting, I was cleaning the kitchen at the same time. I love cleaning. I love laundry. People are like, I'll do that stuff on Instagram, and they're like, girl, you have your own Netflix show, like hire someone to do your laundry. And I'm like, I like to do laundry.
No, I feel you on a weird,
I call it productive meditation.
Yeah, no, it is, because it's kind of mindless and you can just do it and feel at peace. And also for me, I'm realizing we do so much on our phones that it's almost nice to do things with my hands that don't involve my phone.
Exactly.
Like just to physically touch things. Like
sounds
so like
the other thing too that I do to kind of like shut off, you guys, and I really think this is super important. Go to church, go to temple, do it. You guys, God is like literally being canceled in America. And I think that I have never seen a more anxious, depressed, and lonely generation than like we are seeing now. And my mission, like I'm literally gonna get t-shirts that say bring God back, like because everybody's just like, and I think that what's happening is that because people don't have a higher power, they've lost meaning in their life, and then they try to self-medicate with things like being busy or dating a million people or drugs, alcohol. Like literally just, you need to have a spirituality and like there was just a study that came out that showed women that go to like some sort of religious thing once a week are 5 times less to commit suicide than the general population. It matters, you guys. I'm literally like on a mission to bring God back. I don't care like what you do, but you need to have some sort of higher power to bring meaning into your life.
And I think that it's like, I think that meaning kind of can take on a different meaning. So I feel like my God is just like the universe. It's just like my higher power. And I feel like when I am connected to like that spirit, I just feel more like whole and aligned. You know, it's not like I'm like, you know, oh, I've got, you know, Jesus in my life and I have faith. I just feel more at peace.
But I'm telling you, like, listen, I'm Jewish, right? But my trainer is Christian. And she was telling me about like the sermon that the pastor gave about this topic. And I literally want to bring him on my Instagram to do an IG live with me. You know, I don't think you have to be like, I would go to this sermon. I'm not Christian.
Yeah, right.
You know?
I see what you're saying.
I think that sometimes when you're in a house of God And for you, it might not be Jesus. They might be saying Jesus, but you can hear spiritual whatever. Do you know what I mean? But I think sometimes when you're just in a space where everyone is being spiritual together, matters. And it lets you shut off your brain and open your heart, and just hearing a sermon from someone who dedicates their life to that is very important. And I don't know how to explain it. It's literally the only place in the entire world I can shut my brain off.
I love that. So what I can relate that to is like taking a yoga class where we're all meditating together, you know, like even being around like-minded individuals on the same with the same mission, with the same goal, all being like tapped into a higher power is 100% something so special, and something that I think everyone needs a little bit of in their life. I mean, you need
no matter what they subscribe to.
You need the faith, you need the higher power, because if not, everything gets so just man-made and jaded.
People literally like God, like money becomes their God. You know, and then you lose your way. You start doing shady shit because now money's your God. You know, like I just feel like, I don't know. And also like with the yoga analogy, it's a very lonely experience, yoga, right? Because it's always about tapping into you, listening to your own breath.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Versus
I really think you need a community, and people literally, like, the phone has become their community.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Like, stop. You know, like, get it freaking together. We are social beings. Yes, you're going to feel lonelier. Yes, you're going to feel inadequate scrolling on Instagram. Like, Instagram's become the God. And I don't know. I just feel like we're not going in a good direction with that.
I like the community aspect, though. I think that's really important, because if you don't have that, if you don't have that, it's definitely, you can feel just lonelier, easier, 110%. Like, even like our advice to people sometimes is just like reach out to your fellow and content creator or influencer or whatever it is. Like, we have to have people we can relate to and depend on, and
but
like,
I think it has
support
to be
us.
In person. I think that's
in person. I agree.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch a little bit about your experience as just being a woman in this field and what that's looked like, especially being, you know, a doctor and a surgeon and an entrepreneur and a mom, and all of these titles that, you know, we're so used to seeing in the hands of men, and like what that has looked like for you, and any like hardships you've come across or any things you've had to like personally overcome.
I mean, I think like we all have those hardships, but you know, like, you know, the sexual harassment, or like one of my attendings when I was a resident, she's like, "Oh, Sheila, you finally look pregnant. Your stomach is sticking out further than your boobs." Like, stuff like that.
Oh, that came from a man.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's like, what?
That came from a man?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you know, I mean, I think I was just like on such a mission that I just like, it's kind of like, you know, when you get a bad Yelp review or something, you can feel your heart in your throat, and your face gets red. You can react that way, or you can be like, how do I turn this into like an opportunity for me to show how classy I am?
Right.
Like, you can kind of like control how you react to different things. Like, I don't know. I feel like, you know, when like celebrities read their mean tweets and they make it like it's funny, like it's kind of like I'm like there now, because I've gone through so much shit that it's almost like made me more resilient, and I kind of use that as fuel for the fire and like more motivation, and like, okay, how do I take this experience and just show how like fucking classy I am?
Yeah, no, I love that 100%, because then you're kind of turning the table, you know, you're like, you're not giving people the reaction that they wanted from you. And two, you're right, it is an opportunity to rise above and actually impress people versus clapping
so
back.
much. It was so funny. I was going to give a keynote talk in Vegas at an aesthetic, you know, meeting. And literally 30 seconds before I walk on stage, the guy there's like a panel of like 6 people, and literally one of the people on the panel sandbags me, like starts talking shit about me 30 seconds before I'm about to walk on stage. So I just literally, this is like, I'm so, you know, been through so much. So I just walked on stage. I addressed what he said. And then I said, and now this is a perfect segue into my talk, you know, haters gonna hate, turning your haters into motivators. And then we went, and literally people were like posting, they're like, legend, you know, like,
oh my God.
You can turn things and use things as an opportunity. And it was so great, because there was a study that came out literally like a week before that showed that female physicians are twice as likely to be trolled than their male counterparts. So it's kind of like,
that does not surprise me at all.
No. So I mean, I want to talk definitely about like just being a boss ass female. And I remember seeing a post on one of your like 10 Instagram pages about you don't have to act like a man to lead. And I would love to just get your thoughts on that, because I feel like, you know, being a female entrepreneur, a lot of us kind of feel like we have to have on this like tough outer shell. And I'm curious just kind of how you've navigated that space with remaining, you know, feminine.
I think that's kind of like where that was coming from, is when I was in residency, we had one female attending and literally she looked like a man. And I think she did that because she was, you know, doing that to kind of survive, because it was an old boys club and that's how it was. And I sort of came out and I'm like, wait, I like clothes, I like shoes, I like bags, I like makeup, and I want to kind of show girls that you can kind of redefine what it is to have a career and really be yourself, you know, whether that's sports or golf or whatever you like. It's totally fine to like wear a bikini and also be a surgeon. That's totally fine. And I think I was really the first person doing that. And what's really funny is I got shat on by a lot of colleagues, like female colleagues, not just male colleagues. Female colleagues. The male colleagues were saying that I was using unfair tactics, like me showing myself in a gown is an unfair tactic. That's what they were calling it. But then because it's like, I don't know. It's like they can't wear a gown, therefore it's unfair. Like, I don't wear a suit. Like, what do I care? You know? So it was that's what they were calling it. And then the females were like, oh, did you see what she posted in? And like, blah, blah, blah. Then there was a research paper that came out about vascular surgery women and like what they were posting in, and they called it like inappropriate. And so the vascular surgery women basically start posting themselves in bikinis and being like, you know, fuck you, I'm gonna, you know, post myself in a bikini. Why can you post in swim trunks and that's okay, whereas I post in a bikini, it's not okay? And then the entire female physician community started being like doing posts in bikinis to show their like solidarity with the vascular surgery. The journal retracted the paper. Wow. But then it was so funny, I went on and I was like, listen ladies, I've been doing this for years, you've been shitting on me, and now it's all of a sudden okay for you to post. So it was kind of like just pointing out the hypocrisy, and I do that all the time, whether it's in politics or, you know, anything else. So yeah, I mean, I just feel like I wanted to show people you can be you can be anything, you can be a mom, because I got a lot of messaging, you know, as a Persian girl, you have to choose between being a mom and being a surgeon, you can't do both. Got that a lot, you know, being at a birthday party and people being like, wait, if you're a surgeon, your husband is a surgeon, who feeds the kids? And I'm like, well, they're starving. It's really sad.
Yeah,
they haven't eaten in days.
Yeah, they haven't had food in years. I just, you know, like
it's just such outdated thinking.
Yeah, and you know, and it's not easy. I'm not gonna lie. Like there was times where I would literally drive home after work and call my husband to come get me out of the car because I was so exhausted I couldn't even stand. I mean, it was not easy. I'm not gonna lie. But it is possible with sacrifice, grit, and just a lot of hard work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's talk about grit. I want to talk a little bit about that because I feel like that's something that I don't know if either people have it or they don't, or if it's something that's cultivated. I'm curious to know your take on that.
Well, I think it's the messaging, right? Like me coming here on the back of a pickup truck, it was like succeed or like starve, right? So for a lot of people, and a lot of the success stories you hear are that kind of situation where it was just like you had no choice but to succeed. But I think what I'm seeing is a lot of messaging on Instagram. It's like live your best life, or like quit your 9-to-5 and like be a YouTuber and like all of that. So I feel like even my own kids, they're like, I want to be a YouTuber. And I'm like, okay. Like, so I think what they don't understand is like, I treat a lot of YouTubers and I treat a lot of Instagram celebrities, and they work hard as shit. I mean, they've even gone to like, for example, like Josh Zilberg, you know, the guy who goes, thank you, that guy on TikTok. And anyway, so he's got like 1 to 5 million views per video on TikTok. He went to business school. I mean, you know what I mean? So I think a lot of times they don't see, it's kind of like you only see the tip of the iceberg, but you don't see what's under the water. Mm-hmm. Or like Lance Stewart, who's one of like he's, you know, posts in my office all the time. He is like one of the smartest, hardworking young men, never went to college.
Yeah.
He works his butt off and he's super talented. So it's kind of like, yeah, you can be a YouTuber, but you also have to understand how to read your profit and loss statement and how to negotiate a contract, because people will try to take advantage of you. Mm-hmm. It's not just about living your best life. It's about maybe taking some courses that you hate so that you can live your best life later. And I think that message is lost.
Yeah. we're proud college dropouts. So
Perfect.
so we definitely understand, that aspect as well.
And honestly, I feel like college is just like not necessary for most jobs these days. And that's coming from a physician. And I really feel like they're teaching entitlement. It's like what Bill Maher said. It's like apologize to me 101. And also like some of them are like freaking like theme parks. Like there's a college in Texas that has a lazy river. I'm like, what is happening? Do you know what I mean? I just feel like you guys probably did the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, how I feel about it is that I went to college for 2 years and then I not necessarily dropped out, just stopped enrolling. But I feel like I mean, this is my experience in my particular industry. I can't say it would be the same if I were pursuing something else, but I feel like I'm 2 years ahead in experience and networking than my friends who have stayed in college and got their, degrees and were there for the full 4 years. Yeah. And that's just like that's our take. It's very...
Literally, how do you think I feel? I graduated when I was 33.
Wow, that's so insane. I mean, we always say for lawyers or doctors, you need a degree.
You have to. But honestly, like I learned nothing new in college. Like everything, I went to a really like tough high school. So it's like everything, I literally learned nothing new in college. It was just something I had to do to get to med school.
Right. Yeah. And that's why I feel like a lot of these like communication degrees are, it's like,
like why did I need to take fucking math? Honestly, if I didn't need to take math, maybe I wouldn't have dropped out.
Yeah.
But here we are because I was not going to take math. So, I mean, it's just crazy that they force you to do all this shit literally for money.
Yeah. We do have 2 questions that we like to ask every guest. I think we're good. You have any more questions?
We're good.
Okay. We covered a lot of bases here. I know. I feel like it's like on super speed too. You're just like boom, boom,
rattling
boom.
off.
I love it. Jinx you, Minnesota. So the first question is, what is the best piece of advice that you have ever received?
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Best piece of advice
it's a loaded
I've
question.
ever received. I mean, I think the piece of advice that I think I would have liked to have known earlier is don't be afraid to ask for help. I think a lot of times I felt like if I asked for help, it was showing that I was weak in some way. But I think like now it's like I ask for help all the time. Or if I have a tough like plastic surgery case, it's not like I don't know how to approach it, but I would love to get the opinion of like 10 other people,
right?
Who might have done that before or more experienced than me or done a bunch of them. So it's like I ask for help all the time because I think it allows me to take better care of people, and also it's fun to engage with colleagues as well and not feel like you're just like in your own bubble in your office all day. So I would say that's probably the best piece of advice.
I love it.
Alrighty, our next question is, what is your best biz pro tip? So this could be something like an app or something tactile that helps you stay on track.
I think the best piece of advice or tech is, well, for me, it's kind of like my EMR system. So it's where we keep our charts. But I think one thing that I've done with it that I think a lot of other physicians aren't doing is when you call your doctor and they say, okay, what's your name? What's your email? What's your phone number? What's your address? And then they schedule you for an appointment. I always, on my, electronic medical record, I don't allow my staff to advance to the next page unless they fill out, how did you find us? And a lot of times people ask on paper, how did you find us? And like nobody ever looks at that paper. Right? But if it's on an electronic medical record, I can literally pull up how like Olivia found me, how many people Olivia referred, and how much money came in from Olivia and all of her referrals.
That's so
not just that, I do that in like every aspect. So for example, if I'm doing billboards, every billboard has a different phone number on it. Or if I'm doing Yelp, Real Self, Google, Instagram, every single thing has its own phone number. So I think the thing that's really helped me advance is not just marketing, but tracking data when marketing and knowing when it's best to put money and time. Time is like the thing, right? That nobody can do more of. So where to invest money and time so I get the biggest return on investment for my money and time.
Wow. Love
so
that.
good.
That's a great tip.
So good. Catch us tracking literally everything from now on.
I love that.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I like that you make it like a necessary, like you cannot physically go to the next step until you answer this question because everyone has an answer. So it's not like they can't answer it, you know?
Yeah.
Love that. So good. Thank you so much for your time today. We know that is the most valuable thing in the world, and we so appreciate you sitting down and giving and sharing this hour with us. If people want to find you, follow your journey, where can they?
I think the best place, because I have the link tree there, is my big Instagram. So it's Dr. Sheila Nazarian, and it's Dr. Sheila Nazarian. And then you can literally find everything from there.
Cool. Amazing. And we'll make sure to tag you in the description. Check her out, you guys. This has been an amazing conversation. Let us know you're listening. Take a screenshot, tag us, and we will see you next week for another episode. Peace out.
Bye, guys.
Bye.